Flashlight.
Now that there was lights.
There was light.
There no lights.
Hi, Facebook.
Hello, hello.
Going to give people a few minutes to join us on Facebook Live. Welcome everyone to Together Tuesdays with AMCSI. This session is hosted live on Zoom and Facebook, and we are being recorded. You can attend any device that is on the internet or call in by phone. It should be linked on our socials on Facebook as well as Instagram. And everyone that is going to join us live on Zoom will be muted. But we will continue to take questions and comments via Facebook. And we are going to get started. Today's subject is obviously mini meetups. That was what we have scheduled for our calendar talk today. And I didn't know if, Maria, if you wanted to get started on that particular topic, because it's been something that we've been talking or discussing on all of our recent calls and our daily huddles. So if you wanted to start us off, then I can definitely support you in some of the items that we have ongoing.
Wonderful. Yes.
And of course, introduce yourself, obviously.
Well, I'm not coughing. I'll try to get it out, and then
Gotcha.
I can pass on the baton. So for those who have not met me, my name is Maria Chochowski. I am the Executive Director for AMCSI, and excited to be here with all of you. You heard me about coughing. I've been under the weather for a few weeks, so glad to be able to join us. If I mute myself, it's just to not cough in your ears. But as Annie said, we have daily huddles and as a team, and this is where we get to put our heads together and our hearts, both heads and hearts, thinking about how can we reach you, how can we connect with you, how can we support you. And the mini meetups keep coming up because it's something that has been done for quite some time, or at least available to be held for some time, to support all of you who may be in locations where you may know of any other AMCers, AMC families, physicians, allies, supporters. And it's a great opportunity for people to come together and build a sense of community. This is a big part of our mission, right? To build that camaraderie, community, support, family atmosphere, to help support, answer questions, advocate, or anything else that may be needed. And for those of you who may not be aware, we do have a mini meetup grant where we provide $100 to sponsor snacks, drinks, or even help pay for the venue if you're looking for one. So every location, whenever someone comes forward and says, hey, I would like to host something, can you help us provide this? There's a process we go through, not complex, so don't let process scare you, or none of our processes are complicated. It's more of a formality so that we know where the money's going, we can report accordingly, we know who we're helping, and where the families are going to be coming together. Why? Because there's so many more of you out there than we have met. And our goal is to try and reach far and wide so that we can make a connection with you, even if it is through meetups or hopefully beyond that. If you join us eventually for a committee or for our conference or volunteer or anything else, we just want to be able to connect with you. So the meetups as a grant, they are listed on our website, and Annie can share more details. We typically provide $100, and yes, for those of you joining us or watching this later, we know what you may be thinking, because we think it too. In some areas of town, or the country, I should say, this is a country, we're not regional. So $100 in some areas, you can stretch it quite well. In other areas, $100 will not get you as much. And so that's another reason why knowing where you're coming to us from is helpful, because $100 it is the standard, but we can always try and stretch that to help you out or be creative in making connections as far as the venues that we may be aware of, if you do not know of those, or otherwise to really help in whatever way we can, right? Make these meetings happen. They're not structured. It's really a matter of creating an informal support system, local subgroup, if you want to call it such, so that we can bring people together. And so that's one part of the meetups. The more formal part of the meetups, which is really what Annie was referring to, is that the in-between your meetings and full conference, which is what everybody's looking for, there is an in-between, and that is a one-day event which we have every single year in South Carolina with Shriners. And our goal right now is to partner with other Shriners across the country, since we already have a partnership with them in place and they're helping us fundraise this year. But the goal will be to piggyback on that and find other opportunities, again, starting with Shriners, but also other hospitals, hospital systems, or even doctor's offices or clinics that specialize in AMC that may want to work with us, who may not know that we exist and who we may not have heard about. And those are great opportunities, because in partnering with them, we're able to become the bridge between physicians and the community, and then the support system that we bring that grants financial support, resources, so on and so forth. And that makes for a wonderful trifecta to really address most, if not all, questions and needs that people tend to have. So I mentioned that we have it every year in Eastern US. This is in South Carolina, but we are looking, based on your requests and based on your interests, mind you, we are looking at Utah and Arizona and California, because we listen. It may not sound like we do, but we listen to you and we listen to your needs and we care, and we're trying to find solutions when we may not always have one. So in this case, the challenge was, how do we take our yearly conference to other parts of the country so that everybody can benefit from that opportunity? And the short answer to that question is, it's very much cost prohibitive. It's expensive already to find venues in the eastern side of the country that would allow us to keep prices low and make it accessible for families to attend, simply because of the venue cost and the nightly cost of the hotel itself and the food that we provide and such. So every time we try to look at something mid-US or even West Coast, the prices only go higher. And we know that that limits people's ability to participate. And so we seem to be faced with the same question every time we talk about conference. Do we keep it on the eastern side, where we know that we can find venues and we can welcome as many people as we can? Or do we try to do something on the western side, knowing that it will be cost prohibitive to others as well? And so that's a dilemma for us that we have not yet been able to figure out. We wish we had a sponsor that will come in with a magic wand and say, no cost is too much, no cost is a concern, here you go, boop, everything is paid for. And I know that Annie is dreaming of that and putting it out in the universe, that it'll happen one day. But until it does, we don't want to leave you short of the experience. And so we are working on hopefully hosting some mini conferences, one-day events in Western states, as Western as we can go, based on where we know there are clusters, identified groups of AMCers who are asking for our support, who are asking for us to come to you all, who are asking to help facilitate this. So that's the in-between, the informal meetups. They can be a picnic, an afternoon together, and then full conference. So not the only thing that we talk, the only topic we talk about, but this is a recurrent topic because we want to be able to find a way to get to as many of you as we can. So I can feel the tickle coming. So I want to pass it on back to you, Annie.
Thanks, Maria. So just so everybody is aware, We do have a mini meetup coming up this Saturday in Greenville, South Carolina. It is more informal. We just had our formal one-day conference in Greenville, South Carolina this past March. So this October fall meetup, we're getting back in that swing of things of just more of an informal gathering. The kids will get together, the adults and the moms will get together like they usually do and talk for a couple hours, and we share lunch. So we definitely want to encourage our families that are in regional and more of the state levels to get together. It's important for our families to meet other families that have been affected by arthrogryposis, and the kids just absolutely have a blast. I know that I've heard numerous times from our little AMCers, their reactions to seeing and playing with the kids that are just like them. Or they wear the same braces, or they go to the same clinic. So I know it's really heartwarming to see that aspect of that relationship forming in a very young age group. So if you are in the South Carolina area, neighboring states, we encourage you to come. It is a short period of time. It's 11 to 2, but you just drop in. There's no RSVP. You just come and join us for a really fun and informative time with our families that are in the area. And there's a playground at the hospital, and we'll have some crafts for the kids to play with and create. And so, yeah, so we definitely, I'm not aware of any other AMC mini meetups going on. But I'm hoping more families after this meetup and after the photos come through, we'll have more. We'll have more states and AMCers that want to get together and create something in their local area. So if you are interested in applying for that grant, it is on our website, amcsupport.org/grants. Ted, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, he's giving me the okay. So it's hard to remember the URLs for all of our items, but the mini meetup grant is there, open to our members, and it is $400 that could go toward food, shelter, decorations, whatever. But we also do have the ability to request from the board of directors to expand that grant if you know you have more than so many people coming. I know that Texas had applied for a mini meetup grant and I requested a larger amount because they were they were expecting about 500 attendees. So that's a big area. And they were doing it at Morgan's Wonderland. So we were happy to support that event. So if you have any other connections in the world of gatherings or an event planner, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'm hoping for one of these Zoom calls, Michelle will be able to join us so she can really hone down on the reasons why we can't go to certain areas. Maria had covered the cost of us hosting our annual conference, and some of the bigger cities. The bigger cities are hard. The hotel rates are astronomical, and we definitely want to try to keep it at a decent price point for our families to be able to afford to come for the 4 days and really enjoy themselves. Yeah, so as of right now, I'm in talks with the hospital in Arizona, hoping that we can possibly do something with Phoenix Children's. They have an AMC clinic that I think maybe has been in, I can't remember exactly when they started, but I think they have they treat about 70 AMCers. And so I would love to collaborate with them. There's a children's hospital opening up in Utah, I think in 2024, early 2024, so spring. So we're looking at the possibility of hosting something there for our AMC families, and as well as in Delaware with Rini. And hopefully we can get in as well in California. I've been in contact with a couple of families there as well. So we'll see, and we'll of course keep you guys updated. We have an events page on our website as well. I do not know the URL for that, but it's on our website. And we do post events and create events on Facebook on all our socials, so you get reminders. And so if you are interested in hosting an event, please reach out to us because we will definitely help promote it. So that way it is well attended. Maria, did I miss anything?
No, I mean, nothing in particular. We can really speak to the linkage and the evolution that can come following a meetup. And it's not only that sense of collaboration and informal support system that we talked about, but you
Mhm.
can help us be sort of the boots on the ground, right? We're not always going to know every location that's working on a new clinic. And so as new venues, thank you, Ted, for posting the links. So as new venues become available to our families and you get to learn about those or find doctors that you truly like or an expertise or a style or an approach that others could benefit as well, that is great information for us to have. Not only that we added to a resource, we have a resource section on our page. We have listings of physicians because that is one of the most frequently asked questions as parents come to the US from overseas looking for help, or if they have just received a diagnosis while still in womb, and the parents are preparing for the birth of an AMCer, or if not diagnosed until after birth, and now you're faced with, oh my goodness, what is life going to be like? What do I do? What doctors do I trust? Where do I seek help? And so we try to be very intentional about making that information available far in advance so that the families that are going through the process of readjusting and trying to figure out and really asking themselves a lot of questions: what to expect, what's life going to be like, how do I prepare, what does it feel, what does it look like to parent a child with AMC. And so this is really where that support system and the Zoom calls that we have for teens and youth and parents and adults with AMC all really comes handy. And there's value to it because no AMCer is going to be alike. And so we love it when people share tips and tricks, or this is how I handle this, or I had a challenge and here's where I found a resource, or this one doctor has this one technique that does this, or this other clinic does bracing in this other way. And it impacted my child and in a manner that others could benefit. So there's there's a benefit with sharing, and we'd love to get those updates from all of you. Again, we're in different places. Ted is in Philly, Anna is in South Carolina, and I am in Florida. So clearly, we're not covering the entire US, and we have very different exposures to hospitals and clinics and hospital systems. And sometimes from state to state, that also makes a difference. So as you find contacts, doctors, experts, treatments, physical therapy, homeopathic, whatever that may help with pain. I thought I had it here. Actually, I do. Hold on one second. Do I have it? Hold on. I can't reach it. I have the salve from Marnie for pain relief. And so you just never know what nugget you're going to come across that others could benefit from. And we're also recruiting people to bring back the how-to series to show people how you can handle certain things. I've seen some of those videos and I love them. One is from Brittany, who's one of our board members, teaching how she pulls her beautiful curls, long curls, into a ponytail. Or I know we have other AMCers who are more than open and willing to teach others how to be crafty and literally doing crafts and paint and different things that they've been creative in finding ways to carry out their hobbies and interests and really remove any limiting beliefs and limiting factors. And so how does this all tie to meetups? You just never know who you're going to meet. You just never know what information will be exchanged that may be what you're looking for, or you may not be needing it now, but when you need it, you may remember who you met and where that source of information can come from. And for us, we are the repository for that wealth of knowledge. So we'd love to hear from you. The other piece to piggyback on Annie's comment on the conference, yes, cost is a big deal. There are other pieces that we take into account. I don't want to leave you with the fact that it's all about the money, it's all about the cost. Michelle, who hopefully will get to join us at some point, she's our VP of conferences. And I know that last year alone, she visited 36 different venues looking for a facility that was that met certain criteria to accommodate our group. And she has a very long checklist that has been developed over time so that we can accommodate everyone, not just price wise, but truly accommodate. So she'll look at the accessibility within the hotel. She will look at ramps. She will look at how many accessible bathrooms they have. She will look at if there's a swimming pool, if there's a lift that can help and allow people to get in and out so that those who have that need can have the help so that they can partake in that activity and experience. She will also look at transportation opportunities and challenges within town. She looks at the proximity to the airport, how easily you can get in and out of the airport if you are on a wheelchair. So these are things that we may not always think about, but when it comes to travel, if we are making that decision as far as where to host the conference, we want to try and mitigate or minimize as many of those as we can. I know, for example, we had a concern with our last conference in that we were not able to, from the moment we went to contract until we actually needed to travel, something had changed as a result of COVID, and there were no longer accessible buses from the hotel. And so that's good information for us to have, because you can't just call the hotel to go pick you up if they don't have the ability to pick up someone who is in a wheelchair. So knowing that information enabled us to deploy a number of resources and people in context to find that options available. And it took a village. We have people who said, hey, I called the county and have this resource. I found this private company that has accessible vans available for this. Or I think it was a board member who found a small taxi company who had accessible taxis and said, you can call this number specifically, and they will know if you tell them this conference that you're calling because you need transportation from this airport to this hotel, and you are on a wheelchair, or somebody in your group or your family is a wheelchair user. And so we will try as best as we can to find out those opportunities to alleviate any travel challenges, any issues once you get on site. And so again, this is just little nuggets that I can share about I think it's 12-page list of checkpoints. There's a checklist, roughly about 12 pages long, of things that Michelle goes through. Otherwise, trust me, she's not traveling to 36 locations out of fun. She's traveling to those locations to find the best venue, to provide you with the best opportunity to accommodate everybody and their needs so that you can have an enjoyable experience and not have to worry about some of these other pieces or issues. And so, as we look at West Coast and other areas, if you're listening, if you have attended conferences for any other reason, family events, family gatherings, work related or otherwise, youth groups, church groups, whatever venues you have attended that you have enjoyed, that were accessible, that could accommodate, that's the other piece, a group of 400 or more people. Our conference size will vary from 400 to 800. Not all hotels can fit that many people. And so again, there's just so many different variables that come to play. So if you have attended an event, if you traveled for an activity and you happen to know of a venue that fits this criteria, again, there's more, but these are the highlights, let us know. Maybe that's an opportunity for us to explore further how we can get closer to some of you on the mid-states and western side of the US. So that's all I can think of adding, Annie, to hopefully help educate and share with our community and our members what happens behind the scenes. Why is it that there is a staff of 3 who is scratching our heads? They have, well, 4 if you include Michelle in this case, scratching our heads, having these conversations. Why? Because it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Not all resources exist everywhere. Not all hotels are built alike. Even if you follow a specific brand, not every venue is going to be the same. And so we really put a lot of thought and a lot of planning into making sure that everything we bring forward to help you all, it is a good experience, enjoyable, and that we can relieve some of those frustrations and fears, because I know that travel can be fearful. If you're traveling solo or and we heard it from some wheelchair users, concerns with wheelchairs getting broken or misplaced, lost in airlines. And so in our newsletter, shameful plug, if you have not signed up, we try to cover some of those things too. What is the latest happening in that space? So when Delta first launched a test for for being able to accept wheelchair users on the plane with their own wheelchair, and they were piloting a process by which they have a system on the floor that would lock the wheels and the back of it so that it can function like any chair and provide the security from any airplane chair. It allows you the comfort of knowing that you are in a seat that fits you, suits you, and was built and purchased for you. And so again, when I say we listen, we really, really do. So the more we know about your challenges, your struggles, your likes, your dislikes, share with us what's working, what's not working out in the world, and we will make sure to pass that along, and we'll take it as lessons learned for us as well, so that not only we can spread the word, but we can build that in our planning. So everything we do has a plan, everything's intentional, so that when we get to the events, we have a great time.
Yes, absolutely. And as Maria said, we are a small but mighty staff of 3, but we do have a lot of volunteers at AMCSI. There's about a dozen of us on the link crew, and then there's the board of directors, and then various other committees that AMCSI has formed over the years. And we're on year 19 of our annual conference for 2024, which is insane to me. So I'm really excited to see a lot of you guys in Atlanta. So if you guys are out there and have a servant's heart and wants to come in our little circle and volunteer some time with our community, I mean, it would be wonderful for you to join us. I just had 2 community members, and they're actually young, very, very young adults that are joining me for a Zoom as moderators. So that's an exciting thing. So that way we would have a full Zoom schedule for the month of October. We have the AMC Kids, the AMC Teens, the AMC Preteens, and AMC Young Adults. That is not new to AMCSI, but just new for the month. We put that on hold for a little bit while people were on summer vacation and other things were going on in life, and moderators weren't available. So we do have that for the month of October, which is really super exciting for us. And of course, we do have 2 weekends of the AMC Moms. So twice a month, the AMC Moms meet. So please join us for that. And of course, the adults, they meet every Saturday, no matter what. They are on that Zoom call until 3 o'clock in the morning. So feel free to drop in on them if you're an adult with arthrogryposis, and you can find all of the Zoom links on amcsupport.org/Zoom. I memorized some of the links, not all of them.
Annie, I was thinking
that I cut and paste often in social media posts. When Ted posts and then I repost, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta post this again. So but yeah, so that's really exciting to have a good group of our young AMCers come and help us at AMCSI. That's really, really heartwarming to me to be able to give them a task, and they just love it. They run with it, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to have those opportunities, and hopefully one day we'll have more staff. We'll have a bigger staff. That's the dream, right? I keep seeing some of our sister related nonprofit organizations that have like a full staff of like 12, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but we'll get there one day.
Baby,
That's
baby
the dream.
steps, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
baby steps, but we'll
Yeah.
get there. But I'm really, really excited to see where we're going. We're obviously going into the end of year. And so Maria, we are very close to November and December. And I didn't know if you want to hit home on those two items, what we'll be covering for our families, obviously in the fundraising department. I know there's very many factors in regard to AMCSI and fundraising, but two very important months for us as the year comes to a close.
Yeah. And I'll get it started, and then I'll switch over to Ted, because Ted is like our magician behind the scenes, and he's been very quiet so far, but there's a lot happening because of him and through him. So I'll get it kicked off. So November is
Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday. I was like,
Yes.
month of giving. Yes, Giving Tuesday, end of the month. So basically, as we approach the holidays nationally, it is recognized really as the months of giving. This is the final push for many nonprofits. So we're not unique. We know that you probably hear from others. You probably get emails speaking to the same thing. We just finished one of our fundraisers with 253. But this is really where all nonprofits send out their plea for support, and we're no different from that perspective. So we have Giving Tuesday, end of November, and then end of year giving, which is really the final push to help us wrap up the year on a good note and good footing. We know that the holiday timeframe speaks to all of us in different ways, whether we feel for those in need, whether we remember someone who's no longer with us and we want to do something on their behalf or in their honor, whether we have some extra money, or we can push ourselves or save on that daily coffee and send those funds in to support others in need through a cause that is close and dear to our hearts. And so that's really what these 2 months are all about. It helps us offset any surprise expenses that we may have had. It helps us hopefully start the new year with some seed money, so that we have a better start to the year. Remember, a lot of these funds go straight back into grants. And so if Annie could have her dream come true, she would be Mrs. Claus, and she would be able to gift everybody. Well, Ted, now that you're with us, you would have to be Mr. Claus, because I'm not putting the beard on. But but if she could have it her way, she would literally be going around town and around the country in her own sleigh, gifting all the families with everything that we can and everything that they need. And that again takes funding, it takes connections, it takes planning, it takes corporate sponsors. And so this is the end of the year again, where you have an opportunity, if you find it within your heart and you're called upon to help us, this would be the time to do it. You can do things year round. We always welcome any support. We have individuals who have a recurring donation, monthly donation, just goes on the credit card, and that's their commitment, and we love that. It's automatic. You don't have to worry about it. We have others who wait for specific times of the year, because again, there's a reason for it, whether it's their personal funding and financials allow them to do so, or there's a date that represents something meaningful to them, and they're doing it in someone's memory, in someone's honor, in someone's behalf. And so we continue to create opportunities to connect with you all in your heart and your donating heart for our cause in whatever way you want to. And For those who are not doing it because of the heartstrings and they just want to prove something. We have 253, which we have now finished our second year, and it's all about being in motion, whatever motion means for you. And our AMCers continue to push through and surprise everybody, to everybody's delight, show what you can do. So in a society that will often assume that there's limitations to people with a condition, our AMCers, and this is a shirt that Misha has, proving people wrong since the day I was born, something to that effect. It stands true. We all have our own reason. We may have our own condition, but we all find ourselves in situations where we want to prove people, thank you for challenging me, because you thought I couldn't do it, but I'm going to prove you wrong. And so whether you are a health enthusiast, or you are a sports enthusiast, or you like the outdoors, or you just want to challenge yourself, Annie's working on a 253 or similar activity year-round to help spread kindness and love and continue that spirit of giving and active motion, which helps our bodies, helps our minds, helps with stress. Physicians keep telling us it's what we should all do, whether we have a condition or we're not. It's just it's just good for all of us. It helps with mental health as well. And so it really is all intertwined. And I know it sounds like I'm talking about different topics, but it really all does come together. The more we collaborate on this end of year giving and other campaigns, the more we're able to give back, the more we're able to give back, the more people find it in their hearts to connect with us and partner and volunteer and then donate their time, donate some funds, and it makes them feel just as happy as it makes us, knowing that through your support, through your resources, through your generosity, some people are not able to give, but they dedicate time to us. They dedicate their expertise, their passion, their resources, suggestions, and that's really how our growth happens. So this end of the year, I hope that you will consider, as you're making financial donations, if that's what you're doing, that you will consider us as well. And if you're not able to, then that's fine. But I hope that you will remember today's discussion and maybe consider applying for a grant and have a meetup. So at least you can support others, even if financially it doesn't really mean a contribution from your end, you can still give back to your own community. And if you have some spare time or any expertise that could help us advance the organization, you can join a committee. You can volunteer on in different ways. We talked about the conference being in Atlanta, so that is no longer a secret. Everybody knows. I'm excited. Have not been there in a long time. World of Coca-Cola is waiting for me. Have not seen it in a while. One of the biggest aquariums that you can find is also in Atlanta. There's a lot to do. And but one of the lessons learned, and going back to giving, and this came from Robert Mackridge and some of the other loan crew members. How wonderful would it be if we had connections to families in that space who know of restaurants, who may want to donate meals for the loan crew while we're working for days before the event and during the event, or who may be interested in sponsoring in some way, shape, or form the conference and offer a discount to those of you who maybe go into the hotels and restaurants in the area to eat while you are attending conference. We've noticed this in Ohio. We, as a community, we really filled those restaurants. I mean, we gave them some serious business for the time that we were there. Some of them they had to ask people to wait for a table because they were full, thanks to all of you. So how do we turn that into an opportunity to give back? Well, it could be gift cards that we can then use for our silent auction. It could be help us connect with a manager or decision maker who can then hopefully offer a discount, so that if you're joining us and you find yourself eating out and with your family, with your friends, hopefully we, through that relationship, can save you some money. So there's just, again, see how things go back and look back to how we work as a team. So right now we're focused on making the end of the year happen. And Ted has all kinds of goodies that he's prepared to connect with all of you and make this process easy and smooth and exciting. So Ted, do you want to let them know what we have in store?
As far as the end of the year stuff, we're gonna be, talking about, we have the donations for 253 still moving through to the end of the year. We have Val's Music Festival still moving to the end of the year. A lot of the donations and events that we had this year are still carried out throughout the year, and we'll be talking about those, and you'll see that all on social media posts. We'll be posting about that through our socials, and that's all at AMC Support on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. And we'll be posting that as well. And then as the year starts to come closer to the end, we'll start talking about the events that we have coming up in 2024 as we start locking down those types of things. We're talking with Rini at Nemers for doing like a day event there in the beginning of the year. We'll be talking about some of the other events that Ani mentioned earlier. And just keep checking out our socials, keep looking on our websites. We update that now weekly. Everything's maintained, and we constantly make posts. So that's pretty much what I got going down as far as socials go.
And just to add to Ted's updates, he did update our Atlanta page. So it is active and live for those of you who do want to be a sponsor of our annual conference, and you can lock in your 2023 rates, which is really neat. So if you want to be in, is it sponsors and exhibitors on there, Ted? Is it both?
Yeah, we have sponsors and exhibitors up there. We also have, if you are a company and would like to advertise in the program, we have those rates up there as well. These prices are locked in as the early bird rates until January, and then those rates will change throughout the year as we get closer to conference. But right now, everything's out there. It's all on a form online. You can fill it out, send it directly to us. We'll reach out to you and finish up the details, and we'd be happy to get you guys involved now, especially with the planning of next year's budgets and things like that. Now's the opportunity to just have this conversation with everybody. And it's a really good time to lock in on these rates now before they do change.
Awesome.
And
And that
that's
is also on our website that I
It
do
is.
not know the URL to. Somewhere on amcsupport.org.
So this is something that we talked about intentionality before, right? And how we are intentional about these decisions. And this is where, again, we do listen to you. And one of the many feedback that we received included, it's just once the new year comes, a small business, because we do some small and large businesses that support us. Our budget is already set. We already made those decisions. We made other commitments. I wish I would have known sooner. So part of the reason for making those available now is not to rush everybody. There is no rush. You can still sign up next year. But the goal was, how do we create an incentive for people to make that decision now? That's how and why we're locking the prices from this year. That's the incentive. If you sign up now, they change January 1st. So that is your choice based on how that fits and works with your budget. But more than anything, it really was that. People saying, had I known this is us taking that advice from you and making it available in ways that we haven't before. And so this is really how we get to respond to you all. And as you bring your ideas, suggestions, or even concerns forward. So if this was a barrier for your participation, if this was a concern because you couldn't budget for it, hopefully this will have addressed and removed that. A lot of times we wouldn't have known the price of those sponsorships until sometime in spring. And now you don't have to worry about it. Lock in the 2023 prices, and then you don't have to worry about prices for 2024 or budgeting for it. The other piece to that on the sponsorship, I know that the term sponsor can be intimidating. And the truth of the matter is that you don't have to have a business to sponsor. You don't have to be a corporation or a big one to sponsor. We have a lot of family-owned, individual-owned entities, LLCs, people who are selling their crafts, or like Marty's selling his salve for pain, and different things that they will bring forward. So whether you represent a small entity or a large entity, there are opportunities to accommodate all of you and fit everybody's budget. And so I wanted to put that out there, because just as human beings, we see sponsorship and we think about hundreds and thousands of dollars, and we really do have quite the variety of options to fit everybody's budgets. So hopefully, by having this information early on in being able to lock in 2023 prices before 2024, you can budget accordingly, plan accordingly, and join us. And join us in the fun. One more piece I wanted to share on the fundraising topic, because again, this is all intertwined, and I don't know how else to call it, because it really is all, it comes together somehow. On the fundraising piece, Ted mentioned that we now have Val's event and 253, both big events, pushed through December. That was also intentional. Why? Because the dates of the events may not always align with your family schedule or with other commitments that you have. And so people's choices were simple. Oh, it fits my schedule, I'll participate, or it does not fit my schedule, so I have to pass. So this is our opportunity to make sure that we are including everybody and giving everybody an opportunity to participate, where your personal schedule, your life schedule, your work schedule does not have to get in the way if you have it in your heart and you want to be part of these activities. For us as an organization, it really helps us with creating awareness and visibility the longer the events run, and of course, the opportunities for some fundraising along the way. So on that fundraising part, the last piece I'll share, because I know we're 10 minutes short of the hour, is the fact that if anybody has an idea for an event, or you've held an event just very informally, we're all about simplicity. We don't need to have a full-blown event of a magnitude of that is delineated. There's no expectations, basically, of the type or size of event for you to be able to work with us and partner on something. So what does that mean? If you have an idea, if you have a community that rallies in support of AMC and AMC families, if you are in a community that may not necessarily be members of AMCSI at the moment because the conference doesn't quite get to your location. And I think California, this is an example where we had this specific conversation. There's some regions with 40, 50 families that they have not been members for a while because we have not been able to take the conference to you. However, we are looking for ways to connect with you. So feel free to suggest ways that you can connect with us. And whether that is a mini meetup or a day of fundraising or a fun activity that can be done in your location to bring those families together. And then we can really learn more about your own spheres of influence. We can learn more about your unique needs. We can learn more about how have you fundraised before, and who knows, maybe someone will raise their hand and say, hey, I can do this fun activity. I can get 40, 50, 100 people to come together and do a peer-to-peer campaign. And so we are literally peeling back the layers of what fundraising looks like and what partnership can look like, and bringing a level of transparency and simplicity forward that can speak to you all, address any fears or concerns that you may have had before that may have prevented you from stepping up or coming forward with that. We don't want things to be complicated. We don't want you to feel intimidated. We simply want to partner with you. And so I'm working on some guidelines and documents that will be the how-tos of some of these activities so that you can benefit from our expertise in this space, but also the lessons learned from others who have come before you. And they're like, hey, this was not as hard as I thought. We had a lot of fun doing this. I made some lifetime friends as a result of this. And now my friends and my support system has expanded, and I'm forever grateful for that. And so we want everybody to be able to experience that kind of joy. And so we'll be releasing some documents as well. Again, to answer your questions, how do I do this? I would like to, but I'm fearful, I'm scared, I don't know what I'm getting into. And so we want to remove those barriers, address the fear, and give you a play-by-play as best as we can, to help bring simplicity, clarity, transparency, so we can do more of these together.
Yes, and we're hoping also to have a blueprint of all of the different ideas. Over the years, we've had a number of AMCers who have either done a bake sale, a yard sale, something at their schools. The Arthur Piposis Challenge that we did years ago still goes on in some of our schools, and they still raise money for AMCSI, which is really, really neat of our families. So there's a lot of ideas on the table, not just 5Ks, music festivals, golf tournaments, motorcycle rides. I mean, there's so many different other items that we hope to present in this blueprint of ideas for fundraising. So I'm really excited about what Maria's document's going to have, and also just the basics of, what you can do within your local community and with your family. And I know, Maria, we've talked, and we have about 7 minutes left. Maybe we could touch on, in your final thoughts for tonight, just letting our families know, like, really how we have been able to operate for the last 18 years, just through our family, friends, and membership.
Well, honestly, I think that there's nobody better to have that closing than you. You are the one who started it all. You are the one that everybody loves. You have the 18 years of history. So who better than Annie, yourself, to talk to our families about how transformational they have been. I've been with you all for a year. You have been at it for 18 years. And it really is a testament of not only the love, your mission, your heart for everybody, but how everybody else has reciprocated that, and really joined on a journey that I don't even know that you expected. So take it away, Annie. Close us out.
Yes, of course, of course, of course. Yes, I am so really appreciative, grateful for our AMC families who have supported us for the last 18 years. It really is because of all of you that we are able to do what we do behind the scenes. And of course, now, 17 years later, have a paid staff, which is really amazing to me. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We do continue to be supported by our membership, family, and friends. Currently, we do not have any major corporate sponsors. So if you would like to be one of our first for 2024, please reach out to us. We could be reached at info@amcsupport.org. We would love to have you be one of our major sponsors for conference, or even one of our grant programs, like our conference, our college scholarship. We do offer a conference scholarship for first-time attendees, and also our brand new accessibility grants, our bereavement grant, mini meetup grants. What did I miss? I know I missed one, but it's on the grants page.
Adoption.
Oh yes, the adoption, which is actually a really big fund. We usually give our families about $2,500 in that realm. So it's expensive to do international and domestic adoption. So absolutely, we're doing really, really good things, being great stewards of your donations. So we appreciate you all. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for sticking by us for all this time. And of course, supporting our annual conference so we can bring a really great time to you guys, not just in the support aspect, but of course in the medical aspect as well. And we're hosting or co-hosting, hopefully, the symposium next year in Montreal. So that's going to be super exciting, bringing about 25 doctors from all over the world to learn more about arthrogryposis. And we're hoping to broadcast that live as well to our families. So yeah, lots of good things going on, and lots of things to look forward to for next year. So thank you all. Appreciate you. Love you much. Love you much. All right, everyone. So we will see you guys next week, next Tuesday for Together Tuesdays, and Ed, take it away for the final goodbye.
Are there any
Well,
questions? Are there any questions that we have?
Don't think I've seen any on Facebook. yet.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see any questions tonight. I was keeping my eye on it. We want to
Yes,
thank
but-
everybody for joining us and watching us tonight, and I hope hopefully the information that we were able to talk about is helpful. And obviously, if you guys have any questions, like Ani said, you can reach out to us at info@amcsport.org. Next week, we're going to be back here on Tuesday, on October 17th. We're going to be talking about do you know about the links, about everything that's involved, that's on our website, and where to find a doctor, where to find the grants, where to look at the events, a lot of the things that we talked about tonight, and a lot more, because there's a lot on our website that we want to make sure that everybody understands and has the accessibility to. So we appreciate everybody, and be safe, be strong, take care.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a
Next
good night.
Tuesday.
Next
Bye.
Tuesday.